welcome to my channel. I actually forgot to film an intro to this, so this is just my Halloween tutorial. Hope you guys enjoy it. It's easy to recreate and have a happy Halloween! So first things first, it's time to sketch out the eye socket. So the best way to do this is just to feel around like the natural bone structure of your eye socket, and I just kind of draw around that, and I use that as my guideline. So where I paint the white, I know not to fill that bit in. Obviously it will differ from different face shapes, but that's just the way how I do it. So once the eye socket's all sketched out, I just start going in with the aqua colour or the face paint. I'm using Snazaroo white face paint. So I just start on my nose and start sketching around like where I've stenciled out my eye socket. And I just go from the in part of my face outwards. That's how I do it. You might want to layer the white because, as you can see, it's a little bit thin, so I went over it a couple times. I find using a brush better because that's just what I do, but a lot of people find it easier using sponges. You cover a larger area when you use a sponge, but I just like using a brush. So once you've gone over it enough times, it should look something like this, and then you just set it with some translucent powder so it stays. Now I'm just using a black eyeliner or eye kohl, and I'm drawing in the actual eyeballs. You can use contacts, like white contacts, but I'm just doing it on my eyelids because I didn't have any contacts to hand, and you'll see how I do that later on in the video. So then I proceed to filling in the sunken in eyes or the eye sockets. So I've just taken black Snazaroo paint on a smaller flat brush, and I've just started to fill that in. The idea is to make sure it's fully covered so it doesn't look patchy, so go over it as much times as you can. Try going patting motions and dragging motions. So next I'm taking the Urban Decay Alice in Wonderland palette, and I just took the purple Mad Hatter shade, and I've just started to blend out the edges to give it a bit more of a three-dimensional look, to give it a more sunken in eye look. That's how I do it, just blending out the harsh lines. Now we're proceeding to the teeth. So I'm just kind of drawing in the mouth there. So like imagine a skeleton. So there wouldn't be lips on a skeleton. So I'm just drawing in the teeth. So I'm just sketching out where it would look. I'm using a Charles Fox brush. I think it's a fine pointer. It's a really, really good brush if you're doing like vein work or you need to do anything precise detail. It's a really, really, really good brush. So you can see I'm just filling in like the mouth there, and then I just start drawing in the teeth. So the way how I'm doing it is I'm trying to draw like the main bit of the teeth kind of on my lips, and then where the teeth go up to where the gum would be is why I'm making it look a little bit more skinnier. I think it gives it a better look when you do it like that, because it makes the teeth kind of look like it's sharp and pointy, but it's not. It's just showing the teeth going into the gum. Even though it sounds a bit graphic, but it is what it is. So you just continue to draw that all along the mouth, top and bottom. Once you've filled in all the teeth, just grab that Mad Hatter shade again and just start blending the top bits of the teeth to give it more. I just think it gives it more definition when you blend them in. It feels like it's more into the skin as such. If you make mistakes, you can easily clean it up with like more black or white paint, whichever is needed. My camera died, so I just drew my nose and I sketched out where the sunken cheekbones would be, if that makes sense. So the hollows of the cheeks, that's what I drew there. Just follow the natural shape and definition of your face when you do that. And then I just start filling it in. I also did a bit more detail on where the eyebrows, like the eyebrow bones are. So if you just come off the eye sockets, you can see a little definition there, and the top of my forehead there, a little hollowing out there as well. Then I proceed to do in like a kind of cracked kind of look to make the skull just gives it a bit more detail. So I've just taken the fine liner brush, and just did like a kind of cracking off the hollows of the cheeks, and then I just do that on both sides. So you'll see me doing it on this side here, same thing, filling in the hollows of the cheeks. Then I'll just start blending out the harsh lines to make it look a bit more sunken in. So then I proceed to bring in the face paint further down the neck. If you're going to go out on Halloween, I definitely suggest you bring it to the neck, chest and shoulders area, but for the purpose of this video I just brought it down on the neck. and then I've just set it with translucent powder, which is also very important to help it stay. Then I grab some Nye Liquid Latex, and I just grab some like kitchen towel. You can use toilet tissue as well to create the ripped out neck detail. So what you want to do is put the liquid latex down first and then put the tissue and just slowly build up, but make sure each layer dries. That's the best way to ensure that it stays secure, because liquid latex is very durable and it does move to the skin, which is why it's good to use liquid latex. So then I proceed to sketching out the neck detail, because as I was saying, I was going for a ripped out throat kind of look. So I just kind of sketch out where I want it to go, so I know exactly where I'm ripping from. So then I just grab a tool, a sculpting tool. You can use anything, but I have this. So I just start picking away at the liquid latex and the tissue, and you just start ripping and tearing to where the guideline is. That's how I do it. So once you're satisfied with how you want the shape to be and the size, and then you just start adding color and detail to it. So what I did was first get the black to give it a more realistic look. I've put darker colors underneath my chin and around the ripped out throat bit. So I've just gone underneath my chin, back. You can go back of the ears. You can go as much as you want. So I've just done it all around the detail there, and then I start actually detailing the ripped out throat. So I'm using like Supra colors. Makeup Forever have really good ones. Nye do good ones. Just make sure it's kind of a more cream based one, so it's easier to blend into other stuff. So then I take Nye Dark Scab, and I just start. It's like a blood effect. You can use it for scabbing as well, but I'm using it for blood. So I just start detailing the outside and the inside of the ripped out throat. Then I just start putting lots inside and kind of pushing it in and just creating more detail and dimension. You can also use a bit of the Supra color as well if you feel. Kryolan does a really good palette as well. I can list some of the good Supra colors to get in the description box if you're really interested into creating this kind of look. So that's how it looks once I've finished adding it bit by bit. It does take a bit of time, but just make sure you take your time, and it's all about patience. So then where I left the eyes blank, I just get some more of that face paint and just put it in the eyes. Make sure your eyes doesn't fully open until it's dried. So I fill it in and I just start drawing eyes on top of my eyelids. So I just get black face paint and just sculpt out where I want the eyes. You can make it more detailed, maybe add veins, or you can add maybe a different color, but I just stuck to black and white. And like I said, just make sure that it fully dries before you open up your eyes, or you could get transfer problems. But if you just set it with translucent powder, and also if you use a spray called Nye Final Seal, that's a really good longevity setting spray for this kind of makeup. It's used for theatre and stuff, which is also really good. Final look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and have a happy Halloween.